Louis Vuitton is amongst the world's most prestigious and well-known brands. Today, the net worth of Louis Vuitton is $377 billion, but the story of how it became so big is a tremendous story of rags to riches. The story begins from back in the 19th century, where a little boy named Louis was born into a very poor family in a small village in eastern France named Jura. The area was extremely underdeveloped and didn't even have a school nearby. With education denied, Louis was forced to work day and night at his father's farm, while his mother made hats to make some extra cash. Louis's life took a devastating turn when his mother passed away when he was only 10. His father soon married another woman who was more wicked than the ones in fairy tales. She was cruel and manipulative that resulted in Louis having angry outbursts in his growing years at home. Frustrated, Louis decided to leave his home at the young age of 13. He set out to go to Paris, but the only problem was that Paris was around 225 miles away, and Louis had no money and food to survive. So the journey was long and exhausting that had Louis often sleeping in the woods with only a cloak to cover him up. In every village that he stopped, he would pick up odd jobs in exchange for food or pennies. Under these circumstances, Louis learned skills in handling wood, stone, leather, and fabric. These skills equipped him for his destined mighty success in the baggage industry. After 3 long and exhausting years, Louis finally made it to Paris at the ripe age of 16. During this time, trains had become operative, and more people started to travel. There opened a new industry for luggage packers. Travelers would ask these people to pack and unpack their stuff whenever they had to undertake a journey. Louis soon found himself working as an apprentice box maker and packer. This had him meet lots of wealthy people who were in search of custom-made luggage for their journeys. He worked really hard at this job and acquired the skills of a refined craftsman. In fact, in 1851, the Empress of France became a customer. She quickly took notice of Louis's talent and hired him as her personal box maker and packer. For a box maker, this was the biggest achievement that there could be. He had come a long way on his journey from a young homeless teenager to having one of the most prestigious jobs that there could be. But Louis had even greater plans for himself. Once he got married at the age of 33, he decided to use his savings to launch his own business. He opened his own box-making workshop in Paris. Louis had noticed a problem in the whole baggage handling business back in the day. The luggage so far was made of leather and had dome-shaped tops which allowed rain to fall off, but stacking was impossible. Thus, the packers had to lift the luggage one at a time and stack them with much difficulty. To settle this problem, Louis started to experiment with different designs using canvas, which compared to leather was durable, lightweight, and water-resistant too. This allowed the boxes to have flat lids that were easy to stock and easy to load. Louis's new design gave birth to a modern, more chic look of luggage that quickly became a must-have. By this, Louis had made connections with the elite, so the new product in the market quickly gained popularity. He even launched a catalog on which people could see the new design and decide which one they wanted to buy. Louis started to get orders from royals around the world that quickly gave him global reach. Now, Louis had enough money to open his own warehouse outside of Paris, where he hired 20 employees. During this time, travel had become a common thing among the people with trains and buses coming into the market. Travel luggages was not only for the elite now, so Louis had a massive influx of orders coming in. It may seem that Louis had hacked his path to success, but unfortunately, that wasn't the case. France was going to war, and things were about to go downhill for Louis Vuitton. In 1870, the Franco-Prussian War broke out when Louis was only 49 years old. Louis had to leave his home and stay in a cramped shelter with extremely low supplies. In 1871, when Louis could finally visit his shop, he found that everything was destroyed. Equipment was stolen, windows were smashed, and things that he had worked so hard for were completely gone. But instead of being disheartened and giving up, Louis made a plan to use his savings and launch a much bigger operation. He chose a shop in an elite location of central Paris and opened a Louis Vuitton store. It was perfect. The Louis Vuitton store was right next to the railway station and the Grand Hotel, so travelers needing new luggage didn't have to go far. By 1872, Louis introduced a new design: beige canvas luggage with stripes. It became incredibly popular. Despite other brands trying to copy his style, customers still preferred the high-quality Louis Vuitton bags. At this point, Louis had also started to expand his expertise in women's handbags. Even though they didn't gain much popularity in the start, because handbags were considered to be too bulky, not very feminine, and actually hazardous to women's safety. For the next 20 years, Louis continued working at his Paris shop until his death at 70. His legacy lived on through his son, Georges, who expanded the brand globally, including opening a store in London. With the rise of counterfeits, Georges introduced the iconic LV monogram in 1896, honoring his father. This gave the brand a unique identity. He was also the one who hacked the best and most unique locks, therefore added the revolutionary lock on the trunks to deter thieves. By 1900, the company had 100 employees, all expertly trained. Today, Louis Vuitton employees train for 18 months to 2 years before making products on their own. The company expanded into new product lines thanks to Coco Chanel, who commissioned a dome-shaped handbag in 1925, later named Alma. This led to other popular bags like the Keepall, Speedy, and Noé. Georges Vuitton passed away in 1936, and his son Gaston Louis took over during a challenging time, just before World War II. During the war, the only way Gaston could keep his business afloat was collaborating with Nazi Germany. Though it was met with much criticism, an author, Stephanie Bonvicini, explored it at length in her book Louis Vuitton, a French saga. Gaston passed away in 1970, and his son-in-law, Henri Racamier, took over, transforming Louis Vuitton from a family-owned company to a global corporation. He switched the business model to retail, expanded into Japan, and took the company public. By 1987, Louis Vuitton reached $1 billion in sales. Henry merged Louis Vuitton with Moet Hennessy, forming LVMH. However, Henry clashed with Moet Hennessy's president and brought in Bernard Arnault for support. Bernard secretly acquired 43% of the shares and gained control of LVMH, leading to a hostile takeover. Despite initial struggles, Bernard revitalized the brand through collaborations with designers like Vivienne Westwood and Isaac Mizrahi. Bernard Arnault's investment paid off massively. He is now the CEO of LVMH, often listed among the world's richest people. Known as the Wolf in Cashmere, Bernard has expanded LVMH to over 70 brands, making it a luxury conglomerate. In 1997, Marc Jacobs became Louis Vuitton's creative director, introducing the first ready-to-wear line and expanding into watches, jewelry, and sunglasses. Despite challenges with copyright infringement, the brand continued to grow, collaborating with brands like Supreme. Even after 168 years, Louis Vuitton remains a sought-after brand, valued at $39 billion, with over 400 stores worldwide. It's a staple among the rich and famous, showing no signs of slowing down. It is now a status symbol that celebrities and the elite wear to showcase their wealth and aristocracy.